My friends have been talking about this new anime that just came out. You might have heard of it. It's called... I'm not sure what I was expecting when I went to go watch this movie, but I'm just gonna say whatever I was went straight out the window. Cause this first episode... It's a lot. If you end up enjoying the video, let me know by hitting that subscribe and like button. It'll let me know that you guys want to see more videos like this. Thank you and enjoy. We saw the episode with this man spitting straight facts. This girl right here, her name is Momo. She wants her man to take her on a date and pay for it. Like, it's 2024. You can't be expecting that anymore. So she does what any reasonable person would do and tries to kick him in the face. This goes about as well as Saitama versus Vaccine Man. And Loki, is that Momo that Saitama saves? After she gets dropped by this guy who straight walks off like Bakugo, we follow Momo to her class where her friends are making fun of her because of the way she's, well, handling the breakup. Telling her friends that all she wants is a Ken Takakura-esque man. I'm gonna assume that just means an unrealistic type man. Although this talk about her dream man doesn't stop her from sulking down the hallway after class. Luckily, she finds someone whose day is going worse than hers and decides to help him out by looking at them and saying 6 words to this goofy Edgar Cut looking guy. I'm sorry, but I don't think years of bullying are going away after that. As any man who gets looked at by a girl for more than 2 seconds, he falls in love. Won't lie though, this man's got riz. I mean, look at this face. How could he not? Then she shuts him down. Does that make you feel good about yourself, Momo? Telling him that you love him like that and then hanging him out to dry. But our mans don't take no for an answer. He shoves his thing right in her face. While breaking his neck, he starts spouting about aliens. What girl wouldn't love that? Whether he's a goofy goober or not, the way he flips these pages while the book is backwards and breaking his neck at the same time. Like, dang, Riz. Somehow this doesn't work on her, and she says the one thing you should never say to a man.
That right there is why you got no friends.
Obviously, he takes this pretty hard. Thank God she realizes the error in her ways and apologizes for going too far. She hands him his book back and says aliens are obviously ain't real. Didn't need to be said, but she believes in ghosts. Mans respectively giggles in her face. Their flirting goes on for a few minutes, and then they both say, you go to creepy place and prove that aliens are real, and you go to creepy place to prove that ghosts are real. And whoever wins has to be the other's gopher. I don't really know what that means, but I'm sure it's probably something awful. But I feel like this bet's never gonna work out, because if there's actually ghosts there, you're dead. And if there's actually aliens there, well, I'm not exactly sure what aliens do to you, but I don't think it's good. Glasses over here gets sent to a dark tunnel, because where else would ghosts be? While he's walking through it on the phone with Momo, he sees bloody footprints. And he does what any reasonable horror movie antagonist would do and turns around. And then proceeds to do the second worst thing that you could ever do in a dark, secluded tunnel, and turns around again. All we see is this sideways eye-looking granny staring into his soul. Then she hits him with this nasty one-liner. This is straight from the anime, by the way. I'll let you suckle my teats, boy, if you let me gobble your dong. Which is a crazy thing to say to a man, like who's going to refuse that? Goofy Glasses Boy decides running away is better for some reason. Like, I mean, she didn't even have teeth. This is when we learn that Turbo Granny don't lose in a race. She is that Sonic the Hedgehog zoom. Catches up to our boy real quick. And while he's getting his dong gobbled up by Turbo Granny, Momo runs into 3 Simon-looking dudes that chase her down the hallway and, well, catch her. This is when the episode starts to get weird. She wakes up on a table with all 3 Simons standing around her, and they go on and on about their species. They have no emotions. They can't reproduce because they're all males, which Loki, you know, did make me feel bad for him until he whipped out this thing. I don't know if I'm even allowed to show this, but let's just call it a Robodong. Thankfully, before anything happens, she gets saved by the bloodiest plot armor I've ever seen. Her phone rings. Glasses, combined with Turbo Granny, the extra teeth edition, of course, comes blasting out of the phone, showing Momo how she should have mollywopped her boyfriend in the first scene, sending Simon number 1 flying into the wall. She crawls out of the phone like any reasonable Turbo Granny would have, and decides she wants to eat all the Robodongs. Loki, this fight was kind of sick. Turbo Granny runs upside down to Simon number 2, and hits him with the gobble gobble, throws him straight into the wall, ripping that Robodong off. Simon 1 and 3 hair off their skin, hitting that second form. Simon 1 tries to attack Turbo Granny, but hits that wombo combo TKO, wiping Simon 1 off the face of the earth. Simon 3 hitting her with that Shadow Jitsu, being the first attack to actually land on Turbo Granny. We learn real quick she's a glass tank, getting slammed against this wall. But don't worry, she gonna get up because we're getting a Glasses backstory. And we learn about why he wants to see his aliens so bad. It's because he's a sad little boy, ain't got no friends. Right after he's about to get up, after his motivational scene, he gets Shadow Jitsu'd one more time and blasted back into the wall. And he's out for the count. This man's really got two tapped. But no worries, because we get to watch Momo's backstory now. Of course, this means she's gonna pull out the Glock and like Simon 3 straight off this planet. Her backstory, a little less tragic. Her grandma likes her to put her hand on her head and then walk to school. Kids make fun of her. She hates grandma. That's really it. I'm not entirely sure what we were supposed to learn from this, but somehow through the power of chi and plot armor, she goes God mode. And I wish I could show you exactly what was happening here, but there's just a lot going on here. And yeah, watch it for yourself if you really want to see this part. She hits Simon with that mollywop, following Turbo Granny's lesson, imagining her boyfriend from earlier, blowing him straight out of the moon in the process. But it's not over, because Turbo Granny's back up and biting as she tries to take Momo out. She gets blasted back by Momo's supernatural godlike abilities, showing us what I assume is her true form. While Glasses does the Running Man, Turbo Granny challenges Momo to come fight her back in the tunnel, saying that if Glasses wants his dong back, they're gonna have to fight. As the alien ship crashes, we thank God again for Momo having supernatural godlike powers, because they somehow survive this. I don't really get that, but there's plot armor for you. Glasses tries to give his clothes to Momo, hitting her with that, could you please put these on already? I'm worried I'm not going to be able to think straight. Like, man, we're all with you. We're all with you. Making her heart skip a beat somehow. I don't know. I'm sure if I were to give this line to a woman, this would not work this way. Apparently, this was one of her lines that her Ken Takokoko says. Freaking out. She asks him for his name. And he says, oh, I'm Ken. Ken Takukura. And that's where Dandadan episode 1 ends. Like I said earlier, I'm not sure what exactly I was expecting when I went to watch this episode, but this didn't go anything like what I was expecting. There was a couple weird things that happened. I do have to say I really enjoyed the animation and the overall character design. I don't want to rate anything fully until I watch the full anime, which isn't all released yet, but I would recommend you go watch the first 7 episodes. They're all out, subbed and dubbed if you prefer dubbed. I would recommend you go watch it on your own. I do skip a lot of the deep storylines and details that make the show actually really good. Thank you all for watching. If I did make you smile, let me know in the comments down below.